What's up, you mad dogs? This is my full card prediction and breakdown video for this week's UFC Fight Night, taking place in Perth, Australia, headlined by none other than Jack Della Maddalena, JDM. Coming up against Carlos Prates in the main event, we finally got one to look forward to, boys. This one is going to be sick, and I think it's got a pretty good card behind it as well. I feel like we're really in for a treat this weekend, boys. I mean, two of my favorite fighters to watch in the welterweight division. This main event is going to be fucking fireworks. Who am I going to pick? We'll find that out towards the end of the video because I'm going to start with the prelims and work my way up. Let's get into it. First fight of the night, we have Themba versus Kody Steele. For this one, I'm going to go with Themba, and I actually think he's going to get a submission win here. I could see him win a decision as well. He came in on his debut. He had a good win. Won his, the fucking road to UFC finals. That was at the start of the year at UFC 325 in Sydney. And he fought some Korean dude who had really good grappling. And he really put it on him in the clinch in this fight. He showed he's got very, very good clinch ability. Uses elbows and knees very well in the clinch. And his grappling is really good. Like his ability to scramble and find his way out of bad positions and transition into good positions, you know? And he's coming up against a guy who's quite physical in Kody Steele. He's a wrestler. He's going to come in and look for takedowns. He can stand and throw bombs too. He'd like to back you up to the fence and, you know, throw absolute heat. There is holes in the striking. He's coming off of a loss against Rongju where he kind of got pieced up for 3 rounds. He had his moments, though. He landed here and there on Rongju, but for the most part, it was a striking clinic from Rongju, and he really put it on Kody Steele. And I feel like in this fight, that's probably going to be the biggest difference. I think Themba is pretty good on the feet as well. He's good with his kicks, good with his range attacks. The kicks that he was throwing up in that debut, he's just throwing up like league question mark kicks like it wasn't shit. And the height he was able to get on them, like to be able to throw them over the top of the dude's head, it was pretty good. So I feel like Themba, he's a pretty decent prospect coming in here. Coming up against Kody Steele, who's, you know, I mean, only one fight in the actual UFC other than the Contender Series fight and obviously the loss. This one could go either way, but you know, I could see the physicality of Steele being a bit of a problem here because Themba does get backed up to the cage a little bit, but he likes to play the game there because he doesn't mind being able to pull you into the clinch when he's backed up against the cage, and oftentimes in the clinch he can just turn it around and find like good position for himself. So I think Themba going to work his way. I do think he's going to get a submission though. I really do. I feel like Kody Steele, as the fight goes on, we're going to see some takedown attempts from him. And I think as he starts to slow down and get a little bit more labor with his movements, I think we could see some like messy takedown attempts when he's hurt on the feet, throws himself into a grappling transition with Fan and finds himself in a submission of some sort. Themba's only 2 losses come to Quillan Salkilld. They were both by submission, but other than that, he's looked pretty good. So Themba going to be my pick for this fight. Submission in round number 2. Let's go for that. Next fight of the night, we have Jonathan Micallef versus Themba Gorimbo. Boys, we're going with the captain. Look at me. I'm the captain now. We've switched roles, you know. We've switched roles in this fight for that one. I'm going with Jono Micallef here. I think he's going to get a submission as well. I feel like this matchup is pretty decent for Micallef. He's pretty powerful on the feet. He does leave a bit of holes on the feet. Elliott was having good success against him in his last fight in Sydney. In that first round, but the physicality and power of Jonathan Micallef really stood out in that fight. He was able to land some big shots on Elliott, even dropped him at times. Even though he was getting a little bit pieced up on the feet, he still had that power there on the counters, and his grappling is good too. He subbed out Elliott, who'd never been finished before that, I don't believe. Or maybe he'd been knocked out before. But I don't think he'd been subbed out before. And before that, he fought Sukyung Ko, who's like a black belt judo elite grappler, and he didn't sub him out, but he didn't really go for it, to be fair. And he's coming up against Themba Gorimbo here, who, you know, hasn't been all that throughout his UFC career. He's got a couple of alright wins here and there. He's got a win over Ramiz Brahimaj, which is alright. He's been on a bit of a run lately, even though he lost recently. He did have a pretty decent run. Gorimbo's had his moments, but he's coming off of 2 losses in a row. One of those was to... can't remember the name of the dude. Short little dark dude. Jeremiah Wells. He lost a decision to Jeremiah Wells, who's about 40. And look, man, 3 submission losses on the record. This screams out to me that this is going to be a submission win for the captain, you know? I feel like this fight is definitely going to get to the ground, whether Gorimbo initiates or Micallef initiates. I could see Gorimbo shooting for the takedowns. He likes to shoot takedowns. He often shoots a lot in his fights. And he is decent in the wrestling. But I think he lacks in the BJJ. And I think that's going to be the difference in this fight. I think we're going to see Micallef catch him with a submission in a scramble or something like that. I'm thinking like a front headlock choke, like a Darce choke or something like that. Catch him shooting for a takedown. Something along those lines. So yeah, Jonathan Micallef, the captain. That's going to be my pick for this fight. Submission round 2 again. Next fight of the night, we have Ben Johnston versus Wes Shultz. Ben Johnston, he's making his UFC debut. He's a former Muay Thai world champion. You look at his record in MMA, it's not 0-0. Fucking billion-dollar company can't update the fucking profiles. He's got like 5 submissions. 6 wins, I believe. 5 or 6 wins. Mostly submissions and 1 knockout. It's 100% finish rate. He's very dangerous. And he's shown the ability to grapple. Even though he used to be a Muay Thai world champion, he's shown that grappling ability. He's got like 4 rear naked chokes on the record. So I think he's pretty decent. He is 35, so he's coming in a bit older for a debut, which it's not usually the best thing to see. But his opponent in Wes Shultz is not great, man. He's very timid when it comes to taking When it comes to taking strikes, he's very timid. In his last fight, to be fair, he was versing like a very physical fucking striker with very like devastating knockout power. But you can't come into an MMA fight and look like that, you know? It's just, you're instantly on the back foot. You're instantly going downhill. And you're just about instantly finished, you know? And just the way Wes Shultz backs out of the fight, I guess you could say, he kind of tries to back away from the fight. The grappling is his thing, you know? He wants to get it to the ground. He wants to sub you out. He got a Suluev stretch on the Contender Series to get his contract. And that was his second stint on the Contender Series. Before that, he lost to Mansour Abdulmalik, which isn't the worst. And then, obviously, his last loss to Damian Pinas. I mean, it's not the worst, but it's just the body language when you're looking like that, taking strikes from a fighter in a cage fight on live television in front of thousands and thousands of people. I am probably never going to pick you to win a fight until you show me something other, like something else, you know? I think the Muay Thai chops of Ben Johnston will show here, and I think he's going to get a knockout early on. Late round 1, early round 2, I reckon. I'm going to say the round 1 knockout happens because, yeah, I just don't like how Wes Shultz looks on the feet. And I think Johnston's probably going to have the grappling to at least... Look, we could even see a club and sub type situation. Maybe I don't see Shultz getting subbed, but look, he's not all that. So it wouldn't surprise me, you know? Wouldn't surprise me. Ben Johnston by finish. That's going to be my pick for this fight in round number 1. Moving on, we have the Lego kid, Colby Thicknesse versus Vince Morales. Now, this is a tough fight. This is an interesting fight, interesting matchup here. And it's a tough fight for Colby Thicknesse. He's coming off of a win over Josiah Musasa, who was a very physical striker from one of those African countries. And he looked a little bit iffy, you know? He looked a little bit iffy. There was a very big physicality advantage for the other dude. And when Thicknesse was getting backed up to the cage, it was tough body language to process at times. But he won the fight. He used his grappling, got dominant control positions, and landed good ground and pound at the end of round one, which I think ultimately got him that round back. And look, he put on a decent 3-round decision win over this dude and used some crafty tricks to craft it up. He's training with Volk, so he's got good chops in the gym, and he's surrounded by fucking elite fighters. So you know he's getting in good training, and he's coming up against someone in Vince Morales who's been a little bit inconsistent with his career, but he's always dangerous. You know, his submission game, his guard from bottom is really, really dangerous. He has to be very careful here because I do think Colby Thicknesse is going to want to grapple here. I can see him having his moments on the feet too. I don't think Vince Morales brings the same kind of physicality that Josiah Musasa brings. So I think he's going to be a bit more comfortable on the feet in this one. I think he might look a little bit better than he did in that last fight. And I think he's going to be able to get this fight to the ground and, control Vince Morales, escape any guillotines and whatnot. He's going to have to look out for the reversal transitions and whatnot. He does have to mind his P's and Q's when he's down there on the ground with Vince Morales, because Morales is very dangerous down there. So he can catch anyone. He almost had Raul Rosas Jr. tied up. I think he had Elijah Smith in some danger at times. So yeah, he's got to mind his P's and Q's. But I think Colby Thicknesse is going to be able to do enough to win this fight by decision. I think he's going to be able to get the takedowns, get the control time, and land a little bit more output and a little bit more damage over Vince Morales across the 3 rounds. I'm going to say like a 29-28, maybe even a split decision. I'm sensing a pretty close fight here, but I'm going to go with the Aussie in Colby Thicknesse to win by decision. Moving on, Jacob Malkoun versus Gerald, GM3 Meerschaert. Boys, surprise, surprise, we're going with the fucking Aussie. I'm picking Jacob Malkoun to win this fight. It's really hard to look at GM3 these days and think, yeah, this guy can win a fight, you know? In his last fight, it looked like he was literally there to just get his payday and fuck off, you know? Like, just go get slept and fuck off, get your money and go, you know? He's a submission freak. Like, he can submit anyone on the ground, and he's a very good grappler. Lots of experience. The amount of fight, like 37-21. That's a lot of fucking professional fights, you know? But man, Jacob Malkoun, he looked good in his last fight. He fought Torres Finney in Sydney, and he kind of beat up on him, man. He kind of beat up on him using that jab, working the jab to fucking find his range. That jab was literally the main weapon for that fight, and he was just putting it on Torres Finney for most of the fight. And it eventually opened up the combinations with the hands. His boxing's very fast and very clean. Trains with Rob Whittaker, so, he's getting in good sessions as well. Same thing as the last fight. I mean, I just don't like the durability of GM3. Jacob Malkoun is not a finisher, but I think he's going to finish this fight, and I think he's going to do it by TKO in the first round. Round one TKO for Jacob Malkoun. I think he's going to be able to box GM3 up, and he has the wrestling to deal with the grappling threat of GM3. I don't see him initiating the grappling, but I could see him going there if he gets GM3 hurt and then follows him to the ground for some TKO of some sort. I don't see him really wanting to play around in that world too much though, because GM3 is dangerous, very dangerous, and a submission that you can throw them up from fucking nowhere and all of a sudden the fight's done, you know? So I think Jacob Malkoun's going to want to keep this one on the feet, and I think he's going to be levels above GM3. GM3 just looks outmatched on the feet 9 out of 10 times that he's out there. Unless you're fucking Rainier DeRitter somehow. But yeah, Jacob Malkoun, I'm going to say he gets the fucking TKO. You're going to see a bit of that this card, all right? I feel like we're getting a lot of finishes this card. TKO in round 1 for Jacob Malkoun. Moving on to the next fight, we have Junior Tafa back again, bro. 6-5. I mean, as WMMA as a WMMA fucking record gets, you know? No disrespect though, all right? No disrespect. I don't want to get fucking murdered. Look, I'm picking Junior Tafa to win a fight. I think he's going to win this fight by knockout. I think he's going to sleep this dude badly, you know? Junior Tafa, he's very, very fucking dangerous on the feet. He has a gaping hole in his game, which is the grappling. It's dead obvious by now. He's been submitted a bunch, taken down, and choked out. It's happened a lot. It's a reoccurring thing. And we're looking at a dude here in Kevin Christian who's got submissions on the record. He's very, very tall, very long. Suspiciously Indian for a Brazilian. So I think that's an important thing to make note of. And he got fucked up. He got fucked up in his debut by Billy Elikana. And don't get me wrong, Billy Elikana is a pretty good prospect. He actually fought Junior Tafa in Sydney. And Junior Tafa had a very good first round against him. Dropped him bad. Had him, I think he was out and woke up as he hit the ground to initiate some grappling. But Junior Tafa really put it on Billy Elikana in that fight. And Billy Elikana made quick work of Kevin Christian. He doesn't use his range, you know? For someone who's fucking 6'7", he does not use his... Fuck's sake. He doesn't use his range, you know? That's fucking throwing me off. Why the fuck did I say that? Yeah, fucking hell. Oh, fuck's sake. Sorry, guys. Junior Tafa, he's going to win this fight by knockout, all right? It's hard to pick him based off what he's given us and seeing a guy coming in with submissions on the record. I feel like a lot of this dude's submissions come off the back, you know? He didn't, in his Contender Series fight, where he won by submission, he got taken down and controlled for most of the fight. Pulled off the submission win at the end of the second round. He was losing that fight. And on the feet, he just doesn't look good. Doesn't use his range, doesn't use his jab to dictate range. Doesn't set up his strikes that well. He has good leg kicks. He does have good leg kicks. He showed that in the Elikana fight. He had Elikana's leg like compromised pretty early. But as far as it goes, man, I see Junior Tafa countering one of those kicks with a fucking bomb, you know? I think he's going to put Kevin Christian out fucking bad. I think he's going out cold. Junior Tafa's going to win a fight in the UFC, baby. He's going to do it, okay? I think he's won one already, but fucking hell. He's on a Tuivasa like fucking downfall at the moment. And he needs to pick it back up. And I think he's going to do just that here. Moving on, we have the Battle Giraffe, Cam Rowston versus Robert Bryczek. I'm going to go with Cam Rowston here. I am a little bit worried on this one. Watching the Brundage fight back on screen, seeing a couple of moments in that fight where he was leaving openings, kind of getting caught coming into range of Brundage, and getting caught with some like big bombs over the top and whatnot, you know? So there is a little bit of a worry here. Robert Bryczek is a pretty dangerous boxer. He's got a very boxing heavy style. He's got a lot of knockouts on the record. But there is one thing that stands out to me. He has a loss. His debut in the UFC was a loss to Ihor Potieria. And for Ihor Potieria, if he didn't get that win, he would be on a 6-fight losing streak himself currently. So that loss really stands out as like a bad mark for me. I don't think Ihor Potieria is any good at all. And Robert Bryczek, he couldn't really do anything about it, you know? Couldn't really do anything about it. And Ihor's a bit of a rangy striker, and we've got Cam Rowston, who's coming in with a similar kind of build, probably even a little bit taller, a little bit rangier. Very, very dangerous. He's only got one fight that's been to a decision as far as his wins go. And other than that, like 7 KOs, 6 knockouts or something. Or 7 KOs, 6 knockouts and a decision. That makes sense. 14, that adds up. The math adds up. He's very dangerous. He's very dangerous. And I think he's going to win this fight by TKO. I could even see a club and sub, like cracking him, getting him down into that front headlock and tying up his Darce choke. I could see that happening, but I'm going to go with the TKO in the second round. Cam Rowston by finish in the second round. I think that's the way that this one's going to go, but I am a little bit worried about this one. Keep that in mind, all right? Moving on to the main card. Before I move on to the main card, I will give a slight mention to, I don't know if this fight's booked, but Jack Jenkins pulled out of the Marwan Rahiki fight, and I know they were still trying to look for an opponent to replace Jack Jenkins, and I think they have, but it's not confirmed with the UFC yet, so I didn't want to give it a full segment in this video, but I think Marwan Rahiki is supposed to be fighting Oliver Schmid, who's coming out of CKB, which makes sense. I'm going to pick Marwan Rahiki to win that fight by knockout, okay? That's all I wanted to say about that one. Moving on to the main card, we have Tuivasa versus Louie Sutherland. Oh boy. Oh boy. Where, this is the card where the fucking Samoan-based fighters, they're going to pick up their losing streaks and they're going to throw them right in the fucking bin because they're all going to fucking win, all right? Tuivasa is going to win this fight by knockout. That's what I'm going to go with. Late first round, early second round knockout for Tuivasa. That's going to be my pick for this fight. We've seen Louie Sutherland come in, UFC London, I believe it was, against the next fighter, Brando Pericic. He lost by knockout in the first round. It was his first knockout loss, and he looked all right. He had his moments in that fight, and what does worry me a bit is he used grappling. And he was able to get Brando Pericic to the ground. And Pericic has good grappling himself, so he was able to get back up. But I do worry when we're talking about grappling and to tie Tuivasa, because if you get that boy on his back, he really struggles to get up, He really struggles to get up, but he was able to deal with the grappling of Teixeira. I think he lost like most of the first round because of the grappling, but after that, he had moments, won the third round, but Teixeira was able to kind of grapple him for like the first 2 rounds, which really stunk it up, and I do worry that could be something that could go down in this fight. We could see Louie Sutherland, knowing that Tuivasa throws fucking heat, is a brawler himself, and has the holes in the grappling that have been shown to us before. I feel like if Louie Sutherland has fight IQ, we're going to see some grappling here. But I think Tuivasa is going to be able to withstand it and then put it on him. We saw Louie Sutherland slow right down, take a couple of shots, and as soon as he took some damaging shots, he it didn't give up straight away, but you could tell it was fucking going downhill really quick for him. So I think Tuivasa is going to be able to withstand the grappling. I think he's going to find that fucking shot, put Louie Sutherland out cold, palms up, and bam, bam, gets the fucking win, snatching up that fucking losing skid, bro. I pray that is what happens, okay? I don't care if I get every other fight on this card fucking wrong if this one gets up, all right? I hope that doesn't happen as well, but I'd rather get them all right because there's a little bit of a trend going on with my picks here. You might have already noticed. Moving on, we have another heavyweight fight. Shamil the Blob Gaziev versus Brando Pericic. I'm going with Brando Pericic here. I think he's going to win this fight by knockout in the first round, boys. That's just what's going to happen, okay? We saw Shamil Gaziev come in, throwing bombs against Waldo Cortez Acosta, getting countered with the speed in the hands. And that was the problem that he had with Cortez Acosta. And I think he's going to have that same problem here. Brando Pericic is very quick. He can grapple if he needs to, but I don't think he's going to. He mixes up his striking very well, uses knees, uppercuts, works well in the clinch. Like I said, the grappling, he can do it all. I put him in a video saying that he's going to be in the top 10 of the fucking heavyweight division in no time, all right? By next year, it's going to happen, you know? After this fight, I think Shamil Gaziev might even be up there, you know? So, Brando Pericic, he's going to win this fight. The speed's going to be too much for Shamil Gaziev. He does need to watch out for the bombs because Gaziev does have power. He's a big boy. He's a big, meaty boy, and he fucking can throw bombs, but he can get countered, leave his chin up in the air, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen. And the Balkan Bear's going to find that shot and put this gun down, all right? Moving on, we have Tim Elliott versus Bedtime MMA. I'm going with Steve Erceg here. This is a bit of a tough one. Tim Elliott's at very, very high odds. I don't think that's quite right. I think maybe he should be a little bit closer. I do think Elliott should be a decent size underdog, but I think maybe it's come in since I looked at it, but I do think Steve Erceg's going to win this fight, and I think we're going to be able to see, finally, some of the grappling chops of Steve Erceg. I think we're going to see a lot of scrambles in this fight, and Steve Erceg, man, it's tough. There is a worry on his chin coming up against, like, dangerous strikers and whatnot. There is a very big worry on that chin, but I don't think it's going to be too much of a concern in this fight. I don't think Tim Elliott brings that kind of danger to where you're going to be getting slept with a bomb like it ain't, like just a one and done type deal, you know? But I could see him fall into some grappling troubles because Tim Elliott is very fucking dangerous on the ground. He had Micallef in all sorts of trouble throughout their fight. Had him in submission attempts all over the place and all, like some real fucking deep ones too. So there is a bit of danger here on the ground for Tim Elliott, or for Steve Erceg coming onto the ground with going onto the ground with Tim Elliott. But I think he's going to submit him. I think Steve Erceg's going to submit Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott does have like 6 submission losses on the record. And I think that stands out to me a lot here. He can grapple and he can submit cunts. But eventually, if it's not always going his way, people can catch him in the wrong transition, in the wrong scramble. People are going to catch him. And I think Steve Erceg has the chops to do it. I think his grappling's very good, very underrated in the grappling. And we haven't seen it that much in the UFC. And that's because he hasn't really showed it to us. You know, he's got good body lock takedowns. I feel like he can use those to avoid the guillotine, to get the fight to the ground without being in danger of a guillotine. Even though the guillotine these days, a lot of people just know how to escape them. Like, they know how to do the right things. They're not as dangerous as they used to be. And Tim Elliott's been caught in a few guillotines in his time. But, man, I just think Erceg's going to be the better fighter here. I do. I think the youth is on his side. I think he's pretty decent. He gave Pantoja a real close fight. People forget, man. People forget. He gave Pantoja one of Pantoja's closest fight, if not his closest, when he was a champ, you know? So, I'm going with Steve Erceg here. I reckon he gets a submission in round number 2. That's going to be my pick for the featured fight of the night. Moving on to the co-main event, we have none other than Quillan Salkilld, baby, coming up against Beneil Dariush. Now, there's only one way this fight goes, boys, okay? Listen to me closely now. Quillan Salkilld by knockout in the first. Does it go any other way? Does it go any other way? Okay, hear me out. If Beneil Dariush didn't go down in 17 seconds to Benoit Saint Denis to like a light grazing punch on the fucking side of the head and get completely fucking slept, I would be a little bit worried about this matchup. This could be a too much too soon type of matchup. And we're seeing that a lot these days, especially in the lightweight division. So this fight doesn't come without complete disconcern. Don't get me wrong. But Quillan Salkild's just got that thing, you know. He's got it. He's got it. I think he is him, you know. I said this in a video a while ago. I think he's going to go all the fucking way. Maybe he finds a loss on the way there, but eventually I think he's going to find his way to the top. At least the top 5 of the lightweight division. Just one of the best divisions in the company. Quillan Salkilld, he can do it all. He can wrestle, he can strike, he can head kick, send you into a whole nother fucking dimension. He can eat some fucking cakes from his parents' bakery. He can do it all, you know? And I think he's going to put Beneil Dariush, palms up, out cold, on the canvas, in Perth, Western Australia, this weekend on a Saturday night in Australia as well. Let's fucking go, boys. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm fucking pumped for this one, alright? I am fucking pumped for this one. Quillan Salkilld by knockout in the first round. That's going to be my pick for the co-main event. And that brings us to the fucking big one, boys. The big one. JDM versus Carlos Prates. Alright, let's take a breath. Let's chill out a little bit. Let's settle down. Okay? Surprise, surprise, I'm picking JDM. Surprise. I know, it's crazy. I've gone and picked all the Aussies on the card. I know, it's crazy. It's not bias. It's just how I see it going. Okay? It's just how I see it happening. It's just how I see it going down. I tried my best. I almost picked Vince Morales. I almost picked Robert Bryczek, but I didn't. I didn't do it. I think those boys are going to win. And I know JDM is going to win this fight. How he does it, I'm not 100% sure on that one just yet. We're going to have to find that one out. But I've got a couple of ideas for you. I could see a decision. A classic fucking war. JDM decision. Pacing him up, outstriking him across 4 of 5 rounds. And maybe a bit of danger in the 4th or the 5th. I feel like there's a few things we can look at here. Obviously, you want to look at this matchup stylistically. We've got a boxer, elite combinations, elite boxing, great movement, great defense, great head movement, footwork around the cage, all of the above. JDM. And we have a Muay Thai striker. Big 1-2s, big kicks, big, devastating power, can put you out with one like it ain't shit, boys. Like it ain't shit. Carlos Prates is the nightmare. We know this. We know this. And this fight doesn't come without worry. Do not get me wrong, please. Please do not get me wrong. But I think JDM wins this fight easily. Okay? I think JDM wins this fight easily. I'm a big fan of both guys here. And it's not the bias saying that. I went back and had a look at the Ian Garry fight with Carlos Prates. It's the only fight he's lost in the UFC. Other than that, he's fucking put everyone to sleep. He's put everyone to sleep. And he almost had Ian Garry in that 5th round, okay? Now, for some reason, before rewatching that fight, I had in my memory that Ian Garry pieced him up across 4 rounds and Carlos really didn't have anything for him until that late in the 4th, going into the 5th round, where I thought I remembered him dropping him and putting it on him for a bit on the ground. But he didn't actually end up, he never dropped him in that fight. He found himself on top in a grappling transition where he could then find some openings for some very, very big ground and pound, which really fucking put some damage on Ian Garry. But that's not what I wanted to look at here, because I don't think we're going to see any fucking grappling at all from JDM. Maybe. It's not impossible. He is an MMA fighter and he will mix it up at times. He did submit Randy Brown. So maybe. But I think we're getting a fucking stand-up banger here in Perth, Western Australia. I think we're getting a fucking absolute war on the tables, where one guy's getting beat up, the other guy's throwing shots, whiffing some shots, missing shots, getting hit to the body, getting hit to the head, and getting knocked out, alright? Fuck. I don't know if that was the right delivery for that, but I'm going with JDM to win this fight by TKO in the 3rd round with a body shot, okay? I wanted to point something out here. Going back to the Ian Garry fight, there was some moments in that fight. What Ian Garry did very, very well was keep moving around the cage. His footwork stayed strong for most of the fight. Now, he came in on short notice for that fight. We need to remember this. Ian Garry was the one stepping in on short notice for that fight. He put it on Carlos Prates for 4 rounds, moving around the cage, doing what he wants, piecing him up, making him miss, and making him pay for it. That's what he was doing really well. As we started to come into the 3rd and the 4th round, you started to see a bit of frustration on Carlos Prates with his strikes. He was reaching a bit more, throwing a couple of extra things that were just out of range and that were never going to hit, finding himself leaving openings where Ian Garry would then unleash some combinations, especially with the punches. I think there was a moment, it was either in the 3rd or the 4th round, where there was a couple of moments in a row where we seen Ian Garry land like 4 or 5 punch combinations on Carlos Prates, and he had him backing up. And there was more openings there to throw like another 3-strike combination as he backed him up to the fence. But Ian Garry kept his range and, just did his thing. I think if we see some moments like that from JDM, where he's getting Carlos Prates frustrated, making him miss, which I think he will, Carlos Prates lands a lot of straight shots. Now, the ducking and that of JDM, he does need to be really careful of that. Just to note, those big knees up the middle, they're going to be very dangerous. They're going to be there. So he does need to be very careful of that. He does use a lot of ducking and head movement with his boxing heavy style. But seeing those moments in the Ian Garry fight, I don't think Ian Garry is anywhere near as slick with his hands as he is as JDM is, Ian Garry is very, very good mixing it up with his leg, with his kicks and his punches. But if you're looking at someone who's able to put combinations with their hands and you want to compare Ian Garry to JDM, miles better. Mixing it up from head to body to head. A lot of the combinations that Garry was ripping in those moments were pretty much all headshots. Big uppercut, 1-2, all headshots. No like 4-strike combination ending with a rip to the body. And you're going to get that from JDM. You're going to get him mixing it up well, flowing smoothly from body, head. And I think we're going to see a moment in this fight where Carlos is getting frustrated and JDM starts getting those combinations going. It's not just the jab anymore, but it's the 1-2 and the 1-2, boom, rip to the body, I think that's what we're going to start to see. We're going to see moments where JDM throws a 3-strike combination, backs him up straight into another 4 or 5-strike combination. Similar to like your Elliott Taboria. It's a good thing that he said, where he was saying that like a lot of MMA fighters don't throw past like 3-strike combinations. You don't often see a 4 and a 5, where you will get that from JDM in moments. When he finds the openings, he'll throw it. And he does it so fucking well. And I think we're going to see that here. I think we're going to see JDM piece up Carlos Prates, make him miss, and find that shot to the body to sink him to the canvas and get that TKO win in Perth at home. WA on a Saturday night in Australia, boys. Let's fucking go. It sucks for you Americans that you have to stay up late and watch it, but that's how we feel when the fucking cards are on in Saudi Arabia. And I'm pretty sure that's how the UK feels like every card. So just fucking deal with it for once, boys. Enjoy the fights, okay? Let's get fucking pumped for this one, boys, because I'm excited. I know a lot of y'all are going to be fucking excited. Bruh, let's fucking go, alright? Let's fucking go. Anyways, guys, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you got to this point of the video, you're a fucking legend. I love you. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye. Bye.